Hi guys, and welcome back to another video, or welcome if this is your first time here. My name is Dana. I'm a mama to four, and in today's video I'm actually going to be gathering up a few things for our morning basket. We're probably going to be reinstating a very light version of a morning basket into our homeschool routine. If you are new here, I made a video I believe late last summer about how we are kind of switching over our morning basket and making it more into an evening basket because we are breaking up our social studies into small unit studies. And the first 3 unit studies that we kind of did had to do with really a lot of storybooks, a lot of character building stories and things like that. But for February's unit study, we're going to be doing a very light kindergarten, first grade level geography unit study. So I am going to be pulling just a few things off of our shelf that we're going to be doing in February, and then as well as just some other books I would like to read as we're still in the winter months here, so winter themed books and things like that. I am excited to be incorporating it again as a way just to help me be intentional about making sure that these books are the ones being read and the subjects are being covered. I absolutely loved it when we did our evening studies. I loved doing the family subjects, and it was a really fun way to incorporate the whole family when it comes to learning. It's not like we can't learn geography together, but it's just easier to make it as part of our actual homeschool routine and our rhythm. Especially during breakfast time, that's a really simple way to just do some quick geography. And having the cart here, which is right over there, is right next to our dining room table. So it'll just be really nice to have everything in one spot and just easy to grab. So when we do have a few minutes, whatever meal that may be, we can kind of incorporate that in and accomplish it that way. Today I'm going to grab this cart and then probably head over to our bookshelves and see what we can find for both geography and winter themed books. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Actually, it's not only the basic geography that we're going to be doing for this unit, but it's also kind of like the beginning introduction to U.S. history. So that's why I'm going to be adding in a few of the actual U.S. history type books. There was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane, and as the light startled our eyes. The camera on the window. I'll see if it actually stays. It'll be hit or miss. If it falls over, you know why. It's on the windowsill. So the first thing, since we are at the table, that I wanted to share with you, and they are right here. We use these on a daily basis in our home, and I always rotate which ones I put out, but this is the United States map. I love these maps because they are washable. They're great for kind of like conversation pieces at the table. And then the back side is blank, so you can fill them in and things like that. But it is great. They're really kid-friendly. I've had this one for going on 2 years now. And I'll, like I said, occasionally pull this one out depending on what units we're doing. But I will use these in the early years. I have the ones that are like the alphabet and the shapes and numbers, and I use those in the little years. But once I get into kindergarten and first grade, I love pulling these out. They are fantastic for that. So that's the first basic, like that kindergarten, first grade level type geography item is the actual placemat. And honestly, you can use them all the way through high school because they make the advanced ones like the periodic table and things like that. But that's my actual like map thing that I love using for the little years. Another thing that I'm really excited about, and I did share this globe with you in my recent favorites, but that is this GeoSafari. Sorry, I have one hand right now, so it might take me a minute. But that is this little GeoSafari Globe. I love this. It's like a game. There's different levels you can choose from, so it is... Are you excited about that? There's different levels you can choose from, so it's great. And it makes really learning everything around the world really fun and exciting. Oh, do you want to see it? Are you so excited? But it makes it into a game form, which makes it really fun, especially for the little years. But I like these because the GeoSafari ones in particular are just a great quality, and it will last, Lord willing, all through our homeschool years. But I love this one. Another geography favorite that I love, especially for kindergarten, is this floor puzzle. It's the Melissa and Doug 33-piece floor puzzle. Again, I have shared this one before on my channel as well. The reason why I love this one in particular is the fact that the pieces are not actual like puzzle pieces. The actual inside of the puzzle are just like these little shapes. So I love this, especially like I said for that kindergarten, first grade level. And it's just a great addition, like a hands-on way. It's the whole world, so they can learn the 7 continents, where they are. Just an easy, basic introduction to geography. We've been using that puzzle for 2 years now, I think. Another favorite of mine, and this is kind of like history and geography in one, but this is the United States of America Fandex. I know you're probably familiar with these, but I love these as a really quick way to learn about different states. And the way I will use this is actually together with that first item I showed you, this placemat right here. We'll pick out a state and then we'll look up the state in the Fandex and we'll read a little bit about it. And it's just a really fun way to bring like actually the information on these, because they're actually, the backs of these cards are full of information as well. But it's just a really fun way to bring that to life while also showing them where it is on the map. So I love using this and then that map together as far as like an actual geography thing. So with the puzzle, the Fandex I just showed you, this globe, and then the placemat, that is all I have for the actual geography part for this unit study. Again, they are just very simple, early learners, great for their early years and learning like that basic geography. So that's all I got to go along with that unit study. Again, I did not purchase anything for this unit study. I might end up purchasing a little unit study, which I'll have linked up above. Not linked up above, I'll show you a picture above here. I'll have it linked up below. Hi, yes. Of an Etsy unit study that I found. I believe it was under $3, but I thought it would be a really fun activity to do as well. It's like a simple like printout one. Anyway, I thought it looked really neat. I may or may not add that one in, we'll see, but I'll have it linked down below if you want to go take a look at that. So for the actual winter themed books, and some of these are winter themed, some of them are not. For the 2 books I'm going to be doing as read alouds for the month of February. The first one is The Family Under the Bridge. This is a really easy read. I remember I really liked this when I was little. I believe I have read this to the kiddos as well, but it has been a while since we're going to read this one. And then the other read aloud I have, and I have read this one to them, but it's been 2 years maybe, and they love it, and they actually requested to do it again. But that is The Long Winter, which I thought was perfect, especially with the season that we're in now. So we're going to be doing this one. And then a couple of like fun picture books that we're going to be doing for just fun. I have this whole series, it's the Nature's Children. They're like older books. They're full of information. The pictures are beautiful. As you can tell, it's like real life photography. So just a really fun addition, especially in the winter months. I did pull out the polar bear one. And then the other 2, again, are probably going to be very familiar with you, but they're the Little House books as well, Winter on the Farm and Going West. I have these 2 also to read for next month. So another one that I got thrifted actually was Reuben and the Blizzard. I just picked this up and I love it. It's a really fun story. So I'll be introducing this one to the kiddos probably this week. And then another wintry, oh there you go. And then another wintry one that I got for the kiddos is The Big Snow. Again, this is like a vintage type style book, but I love it. I think the illustrations are really pretty. It's nature themed and nature inspired. It's all about the animals kind of getting ready for winter. And I just think overall it's a very pretty book, and it's really well done. So we're gonna be doing this one. Another favorite of mine is Henry the Explorer. I've shared this multiple times on my channel. It's one that we do every single year. This is one of those books that we also do a craft with it. But what we'll typically do is we'll read this story and then we'll put together our own little kind of like flags, so to speak, and do our own little nature walk with it. But it's just a really fun book, and it really brings like the actual like outdoor exploration in a fun way to the kids, to where they want to go outside and claim all the things and do everything like that. So really fun book. I highly recommend this one, especially for the winter months. Super cute story. And that's all the actual books I have for the winter, like the actual month of February, as far as intentionally reading them. I do want to mention as well, I know I did not have a lot of things for the geography and then even for the read alouds. One of the things I want to do this year specifically is really be more realistic when it comes to my quote-unquote morning basket or my intentionality, things like that. Because a lot of the times I can just choose all the fun things and my intentions are great behind it, because these are all the things that I want to accomplish and do with my kiddos for the month. However, I'm trying to be more realistic to the point where everything I showed you, I know for a fact it's going to be touched, read, done, completed, looked at, so to speak. So I'm not going to have this cart of things that just sitting in the corner not being touched. Because sometimes when I would go to fill up my seasonal like morning basket and things like that, I'd fill it with so many activities. And while there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself, I had a good intention on using everything, it just wasn't practical. So everything I'm showing you is very practical to our family and our kind of like our phase of life that we are in right now. In the little years, we don't really have a lot of time to where I can designate in a whole hour for a morning basket. It's really just like 20 minutes at a time for the most part, because in the evening we'll do a read aloud, and that would be the most amount of time. That would probably be like a half an hour every single night for reading aloud. But everything else, like I said, is at 15-20 minutes in the morning. Anyway, I wanted to preface that. That's why there's not going to be a ton today. So my last shelf, let me grab it real quick. Easier just to pick them all up here. For our history, we are going to be doing the Heroes of History Read Aloud. This is the George Washington one. I read this one when I was a kid as well, and I thought it was amazing. I love this series. So for the month of February, this is going to be one of our main evening read alouds. So it's going to be this one that will be completed, as well as this one will be completed, and this one. Now that seems like a lot for 1 month. However, we do read aloud every single evening, so we're easily able to cover multiple chapters within that half an hour with each book. So that's why there's going to be quite a few of those. One thing that I got, and this is actually one that my mom gave me, is this is a child's history of the life of George Washington, told in one syllable words. So if you have a first or second grade reader, this is fantastic, because all of the words are very short and the actual chapters are very short. So this is very on grade level to probably, I would say, that second, maybe third grade reading. But they're just simple stories all about the life of George Washington. There are pictures in here as well, but it's just a really, really well done book. I actually have looked through it quite a few times now in a kind of preparation to plan for next year's history, and this definitely made one of the lists for that. I wanted to share it, and because the chapters are so short, it's very doable for that 10 to 15 minute time in the morning. Another book that I have, and this kind of is a read aloud book, but that is a story of Jamestown, that the Cornerstones of Freedom books. I have the Story of Jamestown and the Statue of Liberty, and then I also have the Story of the Star Spangled Banner. So I have this one here. So I have those three, and then I actually found this thrifted. I actually find quite a few of the Abeka books thrifted, but this is the grade 1, which is on grade level for my son. This is My America and My World. And I thought I would use this as kind of like a guide, honestly, because not each chapter is very, very long. It's just a very, very basic and great introduction to history. I went ahead and grabbed this off of my shelf, and there is some obviously basic geography in here. And it looks like a great thing and a great guide to kind of help us along the way with how to study. Now, one of the things I plan to do with my future grades and the future kind of learning style for our family anyway, and that is when we actually do history, typically what I like to do, and this is what I did when I was little too, so I'm looking forward to doing this with my kids as well, is for an actual history curriculum, I'll get one of the Abeka, really any of the Abeka history guides. It doesn't even have to be a new version, and I'll use it as a guide. So for example, I'll just open up and we'll look up the Liberty Bell. There's only a little bit of information on the Liberty Bell. So what I will do is I will find either a story, a novel, or something that has to do with that time era and really bring the history to life, to where I'm not just relying on one little book, but an actual whole core curriculum, mostly with books and reading and bringing it to life that way. So I'm going to be doing it that way again too when my kiddos are older. And another thing I got for the history is the A for America. I went ahead and pulled this off of the shelf. These stories are really, really beautiful. These stories are really, really small as well, and it just gives you a little glimpse into the history of the country and things like that. And I love the illustrations. They're painted, and so I just really, really enjoyed this book. We have looked at it a few times with the kiddos, but now with the history and the ties into everything, it will go really, really well with what we're doing. So that is everything that I'm going to attempt to do for the month of February as far as the extracurriculars and the unit studies and things like that for the month of February. I am really excited, especially about the read alouds. I'm probably honestly most excited about this one because I loved this series. I loved reading the Heroes of History series when I was little, and so I'm kind of looking forward to diving into this and really starting this whole entire series with the kiddos. We just finished up doing the classic narration type stories with the kiddos, so I'm excited to do this one. But yeah, thank you guys for being here and for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. And as always, if you have not, I'd love to have you join our family, and you can do so by subscribing down below. But until my next video, I hope you guys have a good one whatever you're doing, and God bless. Bye. Hi. Hi.